Hello, guys, and welcome to Odds on Bundesliga, 14th match day. We have already Bayern Munich on top of the table, and we have Radek Vegas with us. Hello, Radek.
Hey, Eduardo. Let's get into the last two game days and starting with game day 14 now.
Indeed, we had an interesting match day, the previous one, so let's try to analyze this one, and we have a very good game to start with. We have all the games on Tuesday and on Wednesday, so on Tuesday, the early kickoff is Wolfsburg-Dortmund. Dortmund in Champions League spots, only 3 points away from the top of the table after beating Bochum, as we expected, even with an Asian handicap. 3 consecutive victories for Dortmund. But now they have to beat Wolfsburg, and they are not bad recently. They got a good victory against Mainz. Also, they beat Bochum. What do you expect? Perhaps we can see trouble for Dortmund here.
Yeah, Wolfsburg seems to be stronger in the last games. They didn't lose one of their last 7 games, and they improved, but not really in the standings. They're still only on position 11. That's not great. And the other thing is that Dortmund also was reliable in the last games, and I like the odds on Dortmund, which are 2.1. That is not perfect because we had some situations where Dortmund didn't win a game where they should win. And for sure, the danger of a draw is given, but as it seems there are way less draws than I expect in this season, as we didn't have any draw on the last game day in 9 games, which is very unusual. So I think a bet on Dortmund might be a good idea to bet on them with odds of 2.1.
Dortmund, actually, they haven't drawn away 3 victories and 3 defeats when Terzic meant they are playing away. So Dortmund to win. Next game is Bayern Munich, Werder Bremen. As I said, when we are getting closer to the World Cup, Bayern Munich already on top of the table. They beat Hertha and was a very good first half, especially with lots of goals. And also Choupo-Moting is scoring a lot of goals. He scored a brace, 8 consecutive victories for Bayern Munich. So I guess despite of the great season Werder Bremen are doing, we should expect, of course, Bayern to win comfortably, I would say.
Yeah, but as we've seen against Hertha, they didn't win clearly. They only win with 1 goal in advantage, and they got 2 goals in 2 games in a row against Mainz. They got 2 goals, and now they got 2 goals against Hertha. At the end, Bayern wins games for sure. The odds are not really attractive for that, and the best option in my eyes is to bet on both teams to score here. As we know, Werder Bremen is able to compete with almost every team in the league, as they beat Dortmund in a historical game 3-2 after being behind 2-0 till the 90th minute. And I won't underrate Werder Bremen, and Bayern Munich in this situation is not easy to beat, but also they won't thrash them away, I think. So a small Bayern Munich win with 1 or 2 goals in advantage, and Bremen is able to score once or even twice. And both teams to score odds are 1.65 now. I was betting on it yesterday for 1.7, but still okay.
Well, what a season Werder Bremen are doing. They are 7th in the standings, a team that last season they were fighting against relegation. So they are doing great and fighting against relegation. Stuttgart and Hertha Berlin, both actually. Now Stuttgart in playoff spots to go to Bundesliga too, but they have exactly the same points as Hertha. You mentioned how Hertha were able to score a couple of goals against Bayern. Stuttgart, they lost 3-1 against Gladbach. And surprisingly, I would say, Radek, Stuttgart, they are so favorites for this game.
Yeah, with odds around 2 or even a little bit below. That's a bit unbalanced because I think Hertha is not that bad than last season, and they had a lot of good games recently. That's why I think if you just have a look at the table, both have 2 wins, 5 draws, 6 losses, 16 goals conceded, 11 points. That all turns to very equal game, and I would say it's a draw with 3.8 in odds. But I also would say that it's more value on Hertha, as they had the better results in the last games, as Stuttgart, missed a lot of chances to make points. And I think Hertha has a bit better opportunities in their squad, and the odds on Hertha double chance are 2.0. And yes, I'm going for that.
Okay, let's go for double chance for Hertha. Next game, we have Bochum, Gladbach. Of course, Bochum, the worst team together with Schalke in the league, but at home they are getting lately some good results. Remember that they beat Union Berlin, they beat Frankfurt. That's why perhaps we have odds around 2.05, which is not bad for a team like Gladbach, Radek, that they have a lot of quality, and I think this is a must win for Gladbach to stay and get closer to the European spots.
Yeah, seems so. And the only danger is that Gladbach is kind of unpredictable, as they now won the last game against Stuttgart kind of easily, 3-1, but the last goal was in the extra time. But before they lost to Union Berlin and Frankfurt, while Bochum also lost their games against Dortmund, and Bochum and Gladbach for sure has to be better than their position 8 at the moment says, and they have to win. And the odds are okay. 2.0 on Gladbach is okay, but wouldn't be surprised if Bochum keeps at least 1 point at home. But at the end, in a normal situation, Gladbach is the better team, so good odds for that.
All right, these are the games we have on Tuesday. On Wednesday, we have 5 more games. Cologne, Leverkusen is the first one, and a good one, because Cologne, they are good when they are playing at home. Only 1 defeat this season. And Leverkusen, it looks like they are waking up finally out of the bottom 3. And at the weekend, they got a really good victory, 5-0 against Union Berlin.
Yes, and all 5 goals were scored in the second half. So in the first half, everything seems to be okay for Union Berlin, the leader in the Bundesliga since then. But then they lost, and Bayern surpassed them. And now, unfortunately, Bayern Munich is leading in the Bundesliga again. And Hoffenheim, Union Berlin is only on spot 3. While Bayer Leverkusen now really seem to show their face, what they are capable of with the players they have. They have a huge potential, but they didn't show it in this season so far in not many games. And the question is this a turnaround now? Because they had also a game 1 or 2 months ago against Mainz, where they also had a lot of losses before, and then they won against Mainz. But they continued not winning games. And that's the problem. You can't trust Leverkusen, but on the other hand, Cologne also struggles in the last games. In the last 5 games, they only had 1 victory, and this is 1 month ago against Augsburg, and a lot of losses. And I really don't understand why Cologne is still in a good position at position 12. They conceded 25 goals, same amount as Leverkusen. In this situation, I tend to bet on a draw because the defense, if the defense is almost equal, it seems to have a higher success rate betting on draws. But in this situation, I think the odds on Leverkusen are attractive enough, as they now have to continue playing good soccer or football and winning games. So I think Cologne is for sure beatable, and 2.2 for Leverkusen are great odds here.
All right. Remember that only one defeat at home this season for Cologne. Actually, is not a bad home team. They are 7th in the standings when they are playing at home, but Leverkusen, they have to start getting points to stay closer to the European spots. And the next one is a clash for the European spots. We have Frankfurt, Hoffenheim. Frankfurt, they got an important victory, 1-2 against Augsburg. Very, very close to the Champions League spots. Great success also in the Champions League, qualifying for the last 16 round. They are in good form. Six victories in the last 7. And Hoffenheim is a team that is going a little bit down recently. Radek, they lost at home to Leipzig, and again, they started really well the season, but it looks like they are going a bit down.
Yeah, and the only good thing you can say about Hoffenheim is that they are scoring goals, besides the game against Bayern Munich, where they only lost 0-2, which is not that bad. They scored in every game. That's a quality of Hoffenheim, and I think against Frankfurt, it also can lead to a game with a lot of goals. We have the goal market with over 3 goals at around 2 in odds. And if it comes to a winner, I favor Frankfurt, a small amount, but the odds are not good because they're favorite here. And Hoffenheim is a team I won't bet against them, and that's why Frankfurt is not really that great as we might think at the moment, and they for sure can lose against Hoffenheim also. What I like is a goal bet on over 3 goals, as I said. And the other thing, what we did in our German channel is betting on a correct score, and this is a 2-2. The odds are 12, but this only with a small amount of money, and just for having more thrill watching it, and to have a look if my partner there, Chris, is so good at pointing correct scores. And at the end, yeah, I would say over 3 goals can be a really good bet.
Let's check it in the next video, Radek. If we saw a 2-2 on Frankfurt and Hoffenheim, and someone also bet on that following your tip, they will get a lot of money. Actually, at least let's hope for goals. What a season is doing Frankfurt. Last season, they were very good in Europe, but this season, they are also consistent in the Bundesliga. And the next one is a good one as well, Leipzig, Freiburg, because Leipzig, they are improving a lot. They've improved a lot under the new manager, Marco Rose. Last 9 games, 8 victories, 1 draw. Now they are able also to win away against Hoffenheim. And now they are hosting the second in the standings, Freiburg, a team that is still in form with only 2 defeats this season. This one is a good game, Radek.
Well, yeah, and there are a lot of points where I see that the favorite odds of Leipzig are a bit too low and a bit of disrespectful against the great work of Christian Streich and Freiburg. As you said, they are second in the standing, but also an important fact is for people who watch this closely, that the last 3 games between Leipzig and Freiburg ended 1-1. Also, there were no winner in the last 3 games. And the other thing is that Leipzig is missing a lot of key players with goalkeeper Kulashi and Klostermann, Leimer, Werner. Most painful is the injury of Timo Werner for German national team. He might lose the World Cup, but on the other hand, I think no one is really sad not playing at this World Cup. On the other hand, yeah, for sure, for Timo Werner, who's a really important, good striker for Leipzig, it is a key player missing, and that all points in the direction that Freiburg shouldn't be underrated. How could you, after game day 13, that they are on spot 2? I'm not confident with a Leipzig win. I would say let's hope that they don't win and everyone likes Freiburg more. So Asian handicap +1 on Freiburg gives us odds of 1.6. And that means even if Freiburg loses the game with 1 goal behind, we get our money back. If there's a draw, which is also a good bet with odds of 4, we win the bet. And if Freiburg wins, for sure we also win this bet.
Well, going for correct score, 1-1, as you mentioned, we have odds 8.5.
Yes, and another thing is we now have games during the week, and not only in the Bundesliga. I think it's a kind of a football rule that the games during the week are kind of harder to predict, and there are way more surprises maybe. So maybe on this game day, it's a better option to look at the value for the underdogs and maybe the away teams here.
Well, if Timo Werner is not going to the World Cup, Radek, you can still call Łukasz Podolski. Have you watched the goal he scored in Poland this weekend?
No, I didn't know that he's now playing at Poland even. Yeah. I thought he's still in Turkey.
He's in Poland and he scored an amazing goal from the middle of the pitch. So perhaps he can still make it to the World Cup. What a classic player. When I saw him scoring this goal just before the World Cup, very good memories came to my mind, of course, with Łukasz Podolski.
Yeah, good times in 2006 when he was in the German national team with Basti Schweinsteiger, and Germany was playing World Cup in Germany. Yeah, one of the best World Cups ever. Yeah, but now times changed.
Indeed. Also for the next team, Schalke at that time was one of the best teams in Europe, guided by Raúl, by the way. And now they are bottom of the Bundesliga. Schalke Mainz is our next game. 5 points away from salvation, 7 consecutive defeats for Schalke. So nothing that we can say is good. Perhaps, as you said, that we should see many surprises. They can be able to grab a point finally against Mainz.
But yeah, and after so many losses in a row, sometimes it's time even for the worst team to make points. We know that even Schalke has to win someday, and they also did when they were relegated 2 years ago. And the chances are better at home for sure, and maybe even on a day like this. But the opponent was known as one of the best away teams in this season. They were the best away team, but then they had to face Bayern Munich, got thrashed 6-2. And yeah, now they also lost against Wolfsburg. 2 heavy losses in a row with 9 goals against them. And that is kind of the point that we think Mainz is beatable, and that's for sure the point. But I would say you can't bet on a team like Schalke. And I know you like them, but to put money on them at these risky odds of only 3.4 or even a draw with 3.7, which is the best option here, as we also have very few points here to back up Mainz in this game. Mainz for sure should win this game in a normal situation, and if they can keep up their good shape before the Bayern Munich game. And yeah, Wolfsburg and Bayern are for sure harder opponents than Schalke. That's why Mainz should win this game, but it's a kind of coin flip. And in this situation, the best thing is just bet on a draw, or not, even more better is not to bet.
Well, Mainz, they are fourth in the standings when we are talking for away teams. 4 victories already this season, 3 defeats, 12 points. So they are a good away team. And the last one is Union Berlin Augsburg, and Union Berlin is a very good home team. It's true that they are not on top of the standings, but when they are playing at home, 5 victories, only 1 draw. So they are very strong, and they are still good and still favorites to beat Augsburg, a team that has not won in the last 5.
Yeah, and it's kind of interesting because I only watch the difference between home and away after each game has at least 6 games. Now we have the situation. Union Berlin has 6 home games and didn't lose any of it. But that's not a really big surprise, as we knew that by years now, that Union Berlin is a kind of special place to play. For the guys around who don't know that, it was a small club 10 years ago that their fans built the whole stadium. They didn't pay money for workers, where all the fans were being for 1 year on the pitch and building the stadium. And so it's saved a lot of money for the club because they had to build a new arena for the second league, because they were relegated from the third to the second league. And yeah, it's kind of a football miracle that they now are in such a great situation in the Bundesliga. And that's why they're very strong at home, because I think you have this magic of the fans of Union Berlin, and it's louder than in any other stadium maybe. And so yeah, they want to show their fans a big show, and that's why Union Berlin is that huge favorite. But at the situation at the moment, they are struggling. They lost their leadership. And not only that they lost their leadership against to Bayern Munich, they got 5 goals against Leverkusen. Now it should be time to hit back, but on the other hand, Augsburg had some good results this season. That's why the odds on Union Berlin are too low for me, and I won't bet against them at home, but I won't bet on them because the money I can win is not worth it to bet on. And the only thing I can say is maybe both teams to score, if you get good odds, is 1.87. But also keep in mind that Augsburg is not known for being the best scoring team, and that's why I really don't see a good bet here.
All right. Well, if someone wants both teams to score, here is the option of 1.8, 9 goals score when Augsburg are playing away. They are dangerous. 3 victories already playing away for Augsburg. So, Radek, tell me your best bet, your safe bet for these games in the middle of the week.
Yeah, I think Leverkusen should continue their run, and I would say they won't lose against Cologne. And even if there's a potential draw, that's why I'm betting on Leverkusen Asian handicap 0. We get odds of 1.6 for that.
Okay, and your ACCA?
This game combined with 2 other Asian handicap 0s from Dortmund at Wolfsburg. And Gladbach at Bochum. They both shouldn't lose their games. If they win, this is another situation. But at the end, if we have these 3 teams not losing or even winning their games, then the odds are 3.6.
All right, then let's try our luck. And don't forget, of course, if you enjoy our videos, press the like and subscribe. We still have one more game day in the Bundesliga. before the World Cup, before Hansi Flick gives the list, and Germany, of course, will be one of the favorites, as always, to raise the World Cup. But this will come in the following weeks. Radek, in the meantime, let's enjoy the Bundesliga. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.